Sitting alone in the art room, Sen attempted to finish his still life art before a playful voice called out to him. Leaning around the corner, a fair-skinned girl with platinum hair asked if he wanted to go home with her, while her cute little face blushed at the sight of Sen. Sen complimented Yan on her timing, telling her that she'll have to wait for him as he cleans up. Yan, hearing all this, seems to make a puzzled face. Realizing that her plan was going perfectly, Yan chuckled, explaining that she thought ahead before coming to the art classroom and already fetched Sen's stuff from his locker. Completely surprised by Yan's proactiveness, Sen thanks her for helping him out by grabbing his stuff. Yan, happy to receive the praise, gingerly hands over Sen's bag. Acting innocent but being mischievous, Yan told Sen that he can pay her back with a crepe on the way home, adding a playful smile to the end of her request. Standing up while chuckling, Sen guessed that Yan probably planned all this, seeming to be amused rather than annoyed. Yan seemed to have an unnerving smile, and instinctively touched her shirt pocket. Sticking out her tongue to tease Sen, Yan jokingly asked if she'd been caught. Her face was childish and playful, but her eyes were hiding something more behind them. Still being lighthearted about the situation, Sen said that he caught onto her scheme before asking her to wait as he cleaned. However, something caught his attention, and he stopped, while Yan looked on with a gleeful expression. Sen realized that Yan couldn't have gotten his bag from his locker since he had a lock on it. He asked Yan that he did have a lock on it, right? Her expression froze and her eyes turned glassy as if she was looking right through Sen. Yan instinctively touched her copy of Sen's locker key and began to lie, saying that she found his key in his gym clothes, so that's how she got into his locker and how it seemed like he didn't lock up. Sen, believing it all hook, line and sinker, thanked Yan and said that his clumsiness is how Yan had earned her crepe, which is lucky for her. Yan, relieved that the lie worked, began to wear her joyful expression again, saying how it was lucky, but her words seemed to be more hollow compared to her previous act. Sitting on the bench by the crepe cart, they both enjoyed their food, complimenting it by saying it was as good as the reputation led people to believe. Sen, looking over at Yan's crepe, found it odd that she got the same flavor as him, asking why she didn't get her usual strawberry flavor like she posts images of on Insta. Blushing and giving a coy look, she casually brushes off the question by saying she was just in the mood for chocolate banana. Yan changed the topic by asking Sen where his phone was, causing him to realize that the phone he saw sitting on the train was his. Panicking a bit, he admitted that he was glad Yan alerted him now, saying that he'll go and fetch it and be back real quick. Yan, feigning innocence, offered to hold Sen's crepe while he went to get his phone. Not suspecting anything, he thanked her and ran off to get his phone before it was too late. Once he was out of sight, the real Yan emerged, sensually licking Yen's crepe as if it was something more intimate than it was. With an intense blush and an aroused gaze, Yan, in a twisted, lust-filled voice, said that Yen's crepe was really delicious. Finishing the crepes, Yan offers to throw away their napkins. She still wore an innocent expression, but something more corrupt lay beneath it all. At the last second, Yan said he'll do it, and took Yan's napkin too, before wandering to find a bin, much to Yan's surprise. As he had his back turned, Yan reached into her own bag and grabbed a Ziploc bag that was nestled in her lunchbox. Yan stared at her collection of things that were Sen's trash and complained, as her prized possession for her hoard had just been lost. Returning to Yan, Sen mentions that they should start heading home now since they finished their food. Yan complained that it's still a bit early for that, but Sen began to explain that it's because of his next test. Before he could elaborate further, Yan spouts out a bunch of details that were very intimate, noting that the next test was Sen's weakest subject. Yan accidentally lets her yandere knowledge slip as she tries to persuade Sen to stay a bit longer, revealing that she knew every train he takes or could take, the time difference, and what habits he has when he gets home. She goes to continue, but Sen stops her. Sen tells her she's giving an information overload. Not only that, Yan knows too much about him for his own comfort. Donning the innocent and sweet mask she wears so often, Yan confesses she knows all about Sen because she loves him. The artificial sweet tone was noticeable to Sen, who says that she's not being honest, but saying it for an alternate reason. He mistakenly guesses that she's saying it all for a frappuccino. Allowing Sen to believe his guess was correct, Yan lies, saying that he caught her again. Heading through the train station, Sen asked if Yen lived in the same direction as him, with her confirming that she did. Sen guesses that he's been talking so much when they hang out that he must have just missed that piece of information. Passing through the turnstiles, Sen was surprised to see the amount of people at the station. Yan asked what was wrong, as Sen guesses that they got caught in a rush hour crowd. Yan, seeing yet another opportunity for her schemes, begins to push Sen into the train, saying that they should just cram into the carriage together. As the door closed, Yan had her back pressed against the window while Sen did his best to hold back the horde from crushing them both. Yan noticed Sen's arms were shaking from the strain and awkward positioning as he apologized for trapping her against the window, trying not to touch her. Yan, again using the situation to her advantage, embraced Sen, catching him off guard. While hugging him, she hid a GPS tag in his bag to track him home. Hiding her true intent, Yan told Sen to enjoy the hug. Her words seemed so normal, but her face was more like a spider watching a fly getting caught in their web. As they continued to hug, the GPS tag linked to Yan's phone, completing her plan. Walking home, Yan happily took out her phone to check her GPS tag's location. As she found the building that the tag and Sen was in, she got a message that caught her attention. It was Sen, and he was asking Yan about the GPS tag, not realizing what the small disc was. Yan became stony-faced as she realized that her plan from earlier had been ruined so quickly. Yan did what she always does, lie. She claimed that it was her commuter pass and thanked Sen for finding it. He replied, asking if he could give it back tomorrow, but Yan began to furiously reply without hesitation. Yan told Sen that she was close by, so she'll collect it from him now, seeming to drop the cutesy texting style she had previously used. Twirling her hair around her finger out of frustration, she texted that Sen's family doesn't use the tag, so how did he know what it was called? Continuing to message him and slowly trudging towards Sen's house, Yan seemed to be more and more pissed off, and it showed. A playboy that was passing by tried to hit up Yan but was horrified by what he saw, stopping him in his tracks. Yan's face was a twisted visage of anger, disgust and frustration as she looked at her messages and saw how Sen was not bending to her wants. Almost crushing her phone out of anger, she managed to text again in her cutesy way, saying that she was almost there, while the level of anger within her was at a boiling point, veins popping out from how tightly her jaw was clenched. Yan had regained her composure before arriving at Sen's place. She took back her tracking tag and had made a lie that she was just an adorable clumsy girl. She continued the lie, blaming the packed train for what happened. As she went to continue the ditzy act, someone else called her out on it, saying what happened seemed too deliberate to be a coincidence. Another girl appeared, calling Sen her brother and asking if Yan was his stalker. Yan, barely containing herself, twitched and froze at the claim that was completely accurate but despised to be spoken out loud. Sen, not seeing the wood for the trees, scolded the girl, saying that she shouldn't insult Yan like that. As the bratty girl stuck out her tongue at Yan, Sen apologized to her. Yan had been silent since the accusation and was plotting her next move. Calming herself and arming her verbal weapon, Yan reverted back to her cutesy mask and said that what was said didn't matter because it was only something a child would say. The words seemed to strike the other girl's nerves. Yan then questioned Sen, saying that she didn't recall him mentioning a little sister like this. Sen corrected her, saying that the girl was actually his cousin, not his sister. Turning to his cousin, Sen reminded her that Yan is his junior he's mentioned before, and when his cousin joins their school, Yan will be her senior, so she should be nice. Putting on airs, the cousin introduced herself as Sen's fiancée. She used a similar fake sweet voice that Yan used, and said that she's excited to work with Yan next year. Hearing that Sen was engaged to this bratty child enraged Yan, who snapped the tracking tag between her fingers. Noticing how jealous and defensive the cousin was getting, Yan giggled, causing the cousin to question her. Striking at a nerve again, Yan asked if the cousin was worried that Sen might be stolen away by someone, perhaps someone like Yan. The words struck true, hitting the very nerve that Yan aimed for. Yan continued to verbally taunt the cousin, saying that she's just a pretty little junior and doesn't want the cousin role. Leaning heavily into her fake innocent girl act, she asked Sen to back up what she had said, with him seeming to be aloof to the battle unfolding in front of his eyes. Sen, being sensible for once, told Yan that it's kinda creepy for her to call him brother. The cousin, seeing the danger that Yan posed, yelled at Sen to kick her out of their house already. Sen seemed to be completely puzzled by the shouting. Believing the lies that Yan had spread, Sen patted the cousin's head, saying that she's just being a bit jealous despite him only seeing Yan as a junior. She tried to argue the point but stopped. She glanced over at Yan, feeling the glare and malice emanating from her. Though her pose was the same as before, her features had shifted to look harsh and cruel. The deadness in her eyes was an endless void. The once sweet smile was crooked and sharp. Her face, that was once showing a cute expression, was filled with a barely contained rage. And it was all directed towards one person.